ATP, what it do with your boy Clay More Rain, back at you guys with another one. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Salute to all my subscribers. I always got to start off the right way, right? Salute to you guys. Everybody supporting this platform. Man, I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you for all the support, all the super chats, all the, what is it, the super stickers, the super thanks, the likes, all those things help the channel move forward. If this is your first time tapping into content, I'm always going to encourage you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you are hitting those bell icons next to the subscribe button as well, so you are getting all these alerts when these content is dropping. So, guys, let's get right to it. Keyshawn Davis, Dennis Berinchyk, final press conference, I would say, is out the way, right? That just happened. Interesting press conference. Well, let's speak on it. First of all, as you guys can see right right here, Keyshawn Davis is definitely sporting a new look. He's gone kind of back into the day like before he, I guess, really went pro. We've always known Keyshawn Davis to have this look with the dreads, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's back to something that he used to be, you know, previous to his professional career. But right now, for us, a new look and probably a symbolism behind the whole entire change, right? Expressing this new chapter in his life now that he's about to actually move into this next chapter to become a champion, with all expectations, of course, to winning this fight and becoming a 135-pound lightweight WBO champion. As we know, this is going to be a huge thing for Keyshawn Davis. If he is actually able to accomplish this, the conversation that he's going to be in is going to be in a whole nother conversation, right? He's going to be in a whole nother bracket, right, of boxing talk. But the press conference, being the final press conference, you guys have seen Dennis Berinchyk and Keyshawn Davis interact with each other, and it always seems like there's pretty much a mutual respect. Keyshawn Davis is always giving Dennis Berinchyk a certain amount of respect when speaking about him, and Dennis Berinchyk, you know, honestly, English is his second language. According to his interpreter, you'd always think that there was a certain amount of respect there for Keyshawn Davis. But look, guys, when it's fight week, you know, guys have been cutting weight all week long. It's coming down to who's going to win the fight, right? And all friendships get put to the side. And in all reality, the fight is the most important thing. These fighters get moody. Things happen. Things are said. And, you know, for the most part, you factor it into the fact that there's a fight happening, that they're doing all this weight cutting. You don't want to make it deeper than that. But every now and then, things do happen that kind of go outside the realm of a fight being put together. And, you know, certain things just can't be taken back, right? Welcome to the culture of America. We all know in America that when it comes to boxing, and probably just world on the world level, on the international level, as far as boxing is concerned, you always got to deal with what? A clash of cultures. A clash of cultures, right? You're going to have your Eastern Europeans, you're going to have your Asians, you're going to have your African, your South Americans, as far as, or Central Americans, as far as Mexicans are concerned, and, you know, South Americans, and that are in that area, and obviously the American culture. And you guys know the American culture, the history of America is rooted on, and, you know, has a real nasty foundation built on racism, right? We know the history of the country. We don't need to make this a history lesson class. So what ends up happening at times is that culture that this foundation was built on starts to bleed into all aspects of the culture and all aspects of everything going on, whether it's sports, whether it's dating, whether it's politics. It bleeds into everything, right? Because it's part of the whole entire establishment, the way it was built up. Keyshawn Davis made accusations saying that he actually received a package from, I guess, an anonymous person, and Keyshawn is assuming that this is coming over from the Berinchyk team due to the wording that was on the letter attached to his package. But he opens up a package he received either today or yesterday, and in the package it had watermelons and it had bananas in it, and a letter attached to it. And I didn't get the gist of the whole entire letter, but I think Keyshawn Davis's main thing that makes him link Dennis Berinchyk to this package is towards the end of the letter, it stated, good luck, businesswoman. And if you guys pay attention to Keyshawn Davis and Dennis Berincyk's interaction yesterday, when they looked like they had like kind of like a media day, when they were taking pictures and they kind of met up in a hotel or in a building somewhere, and they had these pictures put together, you heard Dennis Berinchyk using that terminology, the businesswoman, making fun of Keyshawn Davis's nickname that he has for himself as the businessman, calling him the businesswoman. So because of that, Keyshawn thinks that is a very unique statement that specifically Dennis Berinchyk was using to kind of, discredit him a little bit, throw some shots at him, get in his head a little bit. And he feels like he's very confident that package came over from that team. Now, unfortunately, it is always unfortunate when you see things like this turn into these kind of situations, where even though it's a competitive platform and you guys are fighting each other, there was a mutual respect that didn't seem to be bleeding into how good this fight was going to be. But a package being sent to Keyshawn Davis's room with what we know watermelon and bananas to be, a shot at African Americans, comparing them to monkeys, or back in the slave days, they love watermelon, or we love watermelon, things of that nature. So clearly that's what Dennis Berinchyk, if he did send the package, was speaking to, and Keyshawn Davis having to take this into consideration, and saying, listen, this fight's become way more personal. Dennis Berinchyk, for all intents purposes, may have been exposed as somebody who's either a racist, or at a minimum insensitive to the culture of the Black American experience in America, right? The Black American experience in America, either not sensitive to it, or more than likely, in my opinion, if he did send something like that to it, I mean, he obviously is sensitive to it as far as understanding the significance of certain things like watermelon and bananas, and how significant that would be to somebody like Keyshawn Davis. And I'm sure he's trying to play mind games, getting Keyshawn Davis's head. I spoke to you guys in another video that I put together that Keyshawn Davis has to be dialed in for this fight, right? He can't look past Dennis Berinchyk. He has to take him very seriously. He has to, go in with a cerebral mindset, prepared to deal with somebody on the level of Dennis Berinchyk. This is a 36-year-old silver medalist Olympian who competed on the same team as Vasily Lomachenko, of Alexander Usyk, of Alexander Voznik, right? This was a great Ukrainian boxing team that earned a lot of jewelry in those Olympic Games around that time period. And Dennis Berinchyk himself earning himself a silver medal in those Olympics. He brings a high pedigree, and if you've watched him fight before, his IQ is on a high level. And Keyshawn Davis's whole entire game plan going into this, if you listen to him and just take him on face value for the words that he's saying, plans on bringing a lot of power. He thinks he's the bigger fighter. He's an athletic fighter. He's the harder puncher, and he plans on pressuring Dennis Berinchyk, and ultimately even talk as far as bringing this into a first-round knockout, which pretty much means he'd be steamrolling Dennis Berinchyk. So that's a tall task for a fighter of Dennis Berincyk's caliber. What he brings to the table, it would be super impressive to see Keyshawn Davis go ahead and be able to stop Dennis Berinchyk. But needless to say, he has to put those thoughts to the side. He can either dive in and really let these thoughts get into his bone marrow, which could alter his approach to the fight, maybe make him a little bit more passionate, maybe make him a little overzealous, a little overcommitted, a little over aggressive. This maybe Dennis Berinchyk is trying to get out of Keyshawn Davis so that he can take advantage of somebody who may be filled with emotion, blinded with emotions and passion and anger. Or Keyshawn Davis can tune that out, which is what Keyshawn Davis says he plans on doing. Focus on the game plan, focus on the strategy, on the assignment he actually has in front of him, and executes to take himself to not only a WBO championship, but open the door and take him to the next chapter of his entire career right now. I mean, there's legitimately conversations about him and Tank Davis fighting later on, unification title fights, maybe with Vasily Lomachenko or whoever the interim or the champion who would be there temporarily for the champion in recess, which might be Vasily Lomachenko, if he's actually considering retirement or at least not being able to defend his IBF title. So Keyshawn Davis has a lot of opportunities, and I think he's very aware of this, hence the haircut, hence even the way he dressed and the intensity and how dialed in he is on stopping Dennis Berinchyk. But you still got to take every task, one task at a time, right? Keyshawn is in a place right now where he's probably better off tuning this out. You got to tune this out for now. If, in fact, Dennis Berinchyk is actually really on some racist energy, and that's what it is, that's a conversation for another time. But I do think that it is significant that this culture always seems to attract this type of energy. And the boxing culture has always kind of been aligned with some of this stuff. I mean, you saw what Ryan Garcia did. You've seen Teofimo Lopez kind of touch there a little bit, and you've seen how the boxing fans in America have embraced the idea that this is a normal thing to happen in boxing, and that you shouldn't take these things personal. That we understand that boxing's always been a race war in many ways, and that these things are expected. But look, there's another argument on the side of this conversation that would say that at what point do we evolve out of these situations, and as a community, when do we just stop accepting this as the norm? If we're not going to stand tall and make our stance on how we feel about these type of things, then what's going to cause somebody else to come into your country and do something different? You know what I mean? If you have a home and you invite somebody into your home and they see you sticking gum on the table or things of that nature, don't be shocked and appalled when you see a piece of gum on that table that wasn't put there by you, right? Because when in Rome, right? At some point or another, decisions have to be made in the culture here in America, especially in the African American community, about how we're going to deal with these, with the racist energy that ultimately other countries come in here and adapt and pretty much have no respect for the Black culture. It can become pretty interesting at times when you see things like this happening, and the community is always going to be like, well, not always, but a large part of the community is going to make their decision on how they're going to deal with it based on how much support they have for you or don't have for you, right? The old saying is, when the hip hop music was playing, where do you see my, what the word is? What did the ladies say that were dancing on the floor? Well, he's not talking about me, and they just keep on dancing, right? Well, maybe he's not talking about you right now, but maybe somebody else might talk about you that way because they saw you dancing in the song and I thought you didn't care. I didn't know that it was only because it was not about you that you didn't care about it, but it is what it is. Regardless, boxing will be boxing. The fight still stands to be a great fight. I expect Keyshawn Davis to be even more dialed in right now, to be even more dialed in with his team to make sure that he wins this, as he's putting not only his future in the hands of this fight, but also probably standing a little bit taller and a little bit stronger, being that he was slighted in the way he was slighted by Dennis Berinchyk and his team. Now, Dennis Berinchyk never denied it. His translator never denied it. They never stood up and opposed the idea that they're the ones who sent that package over there. Now, listen, this might just be complete mental warfare. Maybe they didn't say it. Maybe somebody from their team sent it over there. Maybe Dennis Berinchyk did say it, and he feels like, later on, I'll apologize at the end of the fight. But for right now, we're fighting each other, and whatever edge I can get, I'm going to take that edge. And this could be an edge where he feels like he's living rent-free inside of Keyshawn Davis's head. Listen, all is fair, I guess, in love and war, right? And it is wartime. Tomorrow, these guys will go up and hit the scales. Hopefully, everybody hits their numbers the way they're supposed to. Keyshawn Davis has always been a professional, or as he calls himself, the businessman. I'd expect Dennis Berinchyk to do the same thing. And they'll be fighting on Friday, and all these arguments will get settled in the ring, right? That's one great thing about boxing. No matter what gets said in between two fighters that have a fight coming up, there's always the fight to look forward to. So there's always somewhere to settle your differences. That's what we'll be looking forward to see happening on Friday. You guys let me know in the comments, though. I would love to know from the community, where are we with these type of racial situations that Black fighters, unfortunately, at times end up in, right? And I guess all races kind of have their moments when they're kind of exposed to the situation. But in this specific situation, it is Dennis Berinchyk coming from another country, coming here and using racial energy that, he obviously feels comfortable with doing that. He's seen it enough on the news, on social media, and how it's just part of the culture. So he's comfortable enough to go ahead and tap into that and use that for his own advantages. But at what point does it become too much, or is it never too much? Is this just part of the game? Is this part of boxing? Are we just crying about nothing? Are you guys just desensitized at this point to this situation and just welcome all kinds of racial slurs? Or do you guys have some, indifferent positions on this whole entire topic? You know what I mean? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And also let me know, do you think this is going to get in Keyshawn Davis's mind? Or do you think he's dialed in and focused, and it's not going to do anything but intensify the beating that Dennis Berinchyk is going to get in this fight, if you're in the support of Keyshawn Davis? And also, if you're a supporter of Dennis Berinchyk, is this the edge he needs? Will he get Keyshawn Davis off his game, off his square, and will he be able to capitalize off of this? And are you guys expecting a potential upset or derailment if Keyshawn Davis is not able to focus his whole entire mindset on the task at hand? Let me know what you think. Once again, shout out to all my subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate all the support that you guys give this channel. If it's your first time that you're tapping into this content, I always invite you guys to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit your bell icons as well so you are getting alerts when all this content is dropping. It's your boy Rain. It's that ATP Combat Media Show, and you guys know how we carry it. At this point, we out.